Hey, all you experts out there, this is the Monetize Your Expertise podcast, where we show you how to use your skills to pay the bills. Have you ever wanted to create a business that positions you as the industry leader and go-to expert? Join me every week to hear from amazing leaders and entrepreneurs who have successfully refined their skills in order to become experts and create extremely profitable knowledge businesses. To find all of the links and tools mentioned in this episode, just go to myepodcast.com. I'm your host, Grant Weherley, the online course guy, helping you every week to monetize your expertise. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Monetize Your Expertise podcast. Today, I'm doing something a little bit different, and I honestly don't know if you're actually going to like it or not. So please do let me know after you listen to this episode if this is something that you liked or you didn't like. It's too abstract, it's kind of weird, or maybe you love it. Maybe it resonates with you quite a lot. But before we dive into things, I want to give you guys a quick recap of something that happened last week, which was really, really exciting. I'm really, really proud about how it went. We did a webinar combined with both Monetize Your Expertise and Rizuku, which is a premium course platform, software to help you build and manage your courses. And so we had a joint webinar that was super awesome, had a great response. It was the first time ever, actually, that we completely maxed out a webinar, something I was very excited about. Not only the people who registered, like literally it filled up the number of people who could possibly register for the event, but also the number of people who could attend as well. It literally got full, which was pretty cool. Yeah, and not only that, the response specifically from attendees was really positive. There was a lot of engagement. People seemed to get a lot out of it. So also a shout out to Sid, who had a really great email afterwards that he sent to me right afterwards, saying it really re-inspired him to continue on this courses. It sort of like kicked him in the pants to feel that additional motivation to keep things going with his course. And also to Dev, who also had a really awesome email that I really appreciated, saying about how the webinar really spoke to that journey for them, for everybody who's in that space creating their first course, and how challenging that is and how it really resonated with people in that situation. And so, yeah, that's thank you for all the support with that. And to those of you guys who maybe registered and couldn't get in because it was full, or maybe you just missed it entirely, no worries, stick around, keep an eye out for new webinars down the road from MYE. Now to dive into things, basically what I'm doing today, which is a bit different. I'm not sure how it's going to go. But essentially, what I normally do is something along the lines of having like 3 tips to double your email or something like that. And I have like an outline that I have on my computer that I kind of walk through, talk through, give examples, sort of like a podcast, mini course kind of thing going on. But today I wanted to do something kind of different because, for a couple different reasons. One, I think, it's in some ways a little bit pretentious for me to be like, I have all the answers, right? And so one thing that I've really enjoyed doing, having sort of a platform through my own podcast, through being a guest on other people's podcasts, is to sort of be very real with people. I guess you could call it that. Like when I was on the Entrepreneur on Fire podcast with John Lee Dumas, I gave like a really straight up, honest and unusual answer to a lot of his questions that a lot of people emailed me afterwards and said they really appreciated. And so I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to be very straight up about, I guess, sort of a question or a problem, a topic that I've been struggling with, that I've been thinking a lot about recently. And I actually don't have like 3 tips to overcome this obstacle like maybe I would normally. But, the truth is that some of the most pressing issues, of course, I don't know all the answers to. And so maybe it's helpful to you for me to sort of tell you about my journey discovering and overcoming obstacles in my own business as well, right? Because, of course, again, I don't have all the answers. So one of the most important things that I've really been thinking a lot about recently is basically, I guess you could call it ethical marketing. How do you market a product ethically? It sounds maybe a little bit simple, or maybe it's something that you immediately be like, yes, I've thought about that a lot. Because the truth is, there's a lot of unethical marketing out there, right? I think for a lot of people, even the word marketing or the word business has a really negative connotation, right? Makes people think of Gordon Gekko and greed. Greed is good, right? It makes people think of sleazy marketers or cold callers that try and press you to give you their credit card number or what have you. And that's definitely true. That's very true that happens, and that's not good. But the problem and I guess the question that I'm raising today, and I just wanted to sort of raise the question, maybe give some thoughts on it, and sort of just open up the discussion, because I think there's a lot of value in even if I don't have all the answers to this topic, even if I just sort of open the door, if I raise the topic for maybe you to think about, or maybe if you have any ideas, please let me know, because it's something that is an ongoing topic in my own business. But basically, it's a spectrum between very clearly unethical marketing and very clearly ethical marketing, or just no marketing whatsoever. Because traditional stereotype, for example, some businesses or some people, one philosophy is going to be, like, I'm an engineer. I want to build cool things. And if I build cool things, people will love to buy it and there will be no marketing necessary, right? But the truth is that's not going to work. Marketing is an essential component of any business that exists, and actually just society in general. There's a lot of inherent marketing in everything that's done, even in the news. So obviously not marketing isn't an option. But the trouble is there's like a spectrum between like not marketing at all and sort of over investing in marketing and seeing that as the only thing that business is about. It's all marketing and just market. Doesn't matter about the product, just like do good marketing and that's a good business, right? So that's the other end of the spectrum. And of course, that's not true either. You hear all these stories or, I don't know, you can find all kinds of like blog posts about sketchy marketers. And even the word online marketer has kind of a negative connotation, at least for some people, because there's just, the word sketchy online internet marketer. It's like a common phrase that's used about people who maybe go too far in the other direction from the engineer and focus only on marketing in their business. Their business just is marketing, pushing things on people whether they need it or not. So the question is, how do you stay somewhere in the middle? And like, is there a midpoint that makes sense, that's like morally acceptable? Because there's, I guess, the philosophy, right, that is sort of a, progressive business philosophy that to market your business can be a very good thing. It's a very positive thing, it's a moral initiative in some ways, because if you have a good product or service, right, say you're a life coach and you help people be happier and be more fulfilled in their life. Well, to feel guilty about marketing is to feel guilty about your efforts to get your message and your strategies and what you do for a living, the way you help people. It would be the same as feeling guilty about just getting that out to more people, right? And of course, the efforts to do so, to spread that positive knowledge and fulfillment and betterment of well-being, that's a very positive thing, right? But if you do that in unethical ways, right? If you're having really pushy salespeople cold call people and be like, no, you have to give me your credit card information now because that's going to change your life, right? That's obviously not a good way to do that. So I guess the impetus for why this came up is actually, I can actually tell you exactly why this is something that I'm thinking about now in my business. I actually had a mastermind call yesterday. This was one of the topics that we talked about a little bit, kind of a segue during the mastermind call, because it's especially true with info products. So, I mean, a lot of you guys either have an online course or you want to build an online course. And the truth is, there's a lot of things with regards to online courses that, like, the best practices are inherently a very distinct gray area of like morality and sketchiness. For example, a best practice of marketing an online course involves scarcity, right? Actually, just marketing in general involves scarcity. It says, there's only a limited number. This is only available for a limited time. There's a reason for you to basically join this program, buy this ebook, etc. Do it now, right? And there's psychological reasons why that's necessary, right? Because people, if they kind of don't have the urgency to do it now, they'll be like, oh, I'll do it later, and then they forget, and they might miss out on that value, right? So the urgency is like not in itself a negative thing, but then you've got like the spectrum of just that one marketing strategy, because you've got like legitimate urgency because like legitimately you have 100 copies of this book or what have you. That's very real, right? Like it's not unethical at all to say that. But say you have an ebook, right? And you have an ebook and you're like, hey, the price goes up in 24 hours, right? It's sort of an arbitrary, artificial scarcity because you're controlling that. There's no real objective reason why the price has to go up in 24 hours. It's just something you kind of decided on to create that urgency. But now here's the interesting point. Is so 24 hours, say you do actually follow through with the price increase that you talked about. Well, okay, that's one level of along the moral spectrum. At least you did not lie, right? You followed through with what you said. But now there's a lot of marketing attempts that are along the lines of like, the price is getting raised in 24 hours. Here's the countdown timer. But you set up the website so that it says that every single day, and it never actually increases. So that's kind of getting along the lines towards the sketchy end of the spectrum. And so I think that's a good illustration of, I guess, the moral conundrum for ethically minded marketers. Just basically like, where is the good point to be along the spectrum? Because, there's a conflict of interest between, I want to get my product and service out to as many people as possible because I know it benefits people's lives, but I also don't want to like mislead people or to force something down their throat and be like, yes, like you need to buy this now, even if it means you have to like take out 10 grand in debt and like not eat tomorrow or not send your kids to college. Like I'm not trying to have that situation happen for people. And so I think it's an unfortunate reality that there's really no clear answer to this question. At least I have not thought of one, and that's why this is more of a raising of a question, out into the podcast ether about something that I've thought a lot about in my business, and I wonder if you have too, and I wonder if you have any ideas, because I have some ideas, but I think it's such a tricky issue that I don't know if there's a clear answer to it, unfortunately. So first off, I'd like to say, if you do have any strong thoughts or opinions about this topic, please do email me, grant@myepodcast.com, or literally go to my blog and leave a comment on this episode of the podcast. And I would love to hear any thoughts you might have about this, because people have such radically different strategies when it comes to ethical marketing, or maybe they don't even care about ethical marketing. Because I think this is an extremely important topic to consider, especially for those of us who are course creators, authors, consultants, speakers, coaches, etc. Because your very product, your very service, your very sort of lifestyle in your business is focused around helping somebody do something, right? And helping a certain type of person to improve their lives in a very specific way. And naturally, your product can do that. But also naturally, the marketing for your product can interfere with that. And this is sort of the classical conflict of interests between sort of marketing to increase the profitability of a business and the well-being of society at large. Sometimes that's at odds in very clear-cut ways. Other times it's very ambiguous as to whether it's a good thing, whether it's a bad thing. It's kind of a little bit of both. I guess the main point of this episode, again, because I don't have any like 3 tips to solve this problem, the main point is to raise this question and to bring up this topic, because I don't think this is talked about enough. There's a lot of talk about how to market better, but I guess there's not a lot of talk about how to market more ethically or how to market better in a way that benefits everybody, not just you and your business, but also your customers and the people you're trying to serve. So again, if you have any ideas or opinions or thoughts about this whatsoever, please shoot them my way. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think. But in the meantime, I do have one suggestion for you. And it's not really a solution, but it's a suggestion, again, to raise the question for yourself in your own business, because it's so easy to be like, cool, new marketing strategy that I just read about on a blog. Let me implement this because it'll help me grow my business. And you can kind of go through that mental process without ever stopping and thinking, does this actually like help my customers? Does it help the world at large, right? Like that's not even a topic in most business discussions in a lot of circumstances. So I challenge you going forward to at least think about this like 10% of the time. Like, are you actually, in your attempts to grow your business, actually having some part of your brain thinking about how this will benefit your customers and society at large, maybe, and not just your business and your bottom line? That's my challenge to you. It's something I also challenge myself because, again, there's a conflict of interest there. If you focus exclusively on growing your business, inevitably you're going to do some sketchy marketing stuff in ways that's counterproductive for your actual customers. So I think it's important to keep a balanced perspective. And as a final call to action, again, if you have any thoughts or suggestions or maybe realizations about how you've made changes in your own business based on these principles, please let me know. And until next time, thanks for listening. Hey, entrepreneurs and experts, I just wanted to thank you for listening to this episode. And I hope you learned at least one new big idea that helps you evolve your skills and gets you closer to monetizing your expertise and creating that successful knowledge business. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on iTunes and Stitcher, and check out myepodcast.com for all episodes as well as the tips and tricks mentioned in this episode. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.